Hi, I'm Fitzgerald. I'm a processing archivist at the Archives of American Art, and today I wanted to talk about the Emmet family, and in particular Jane Emmet. And to give you a background, the Emmet family immigrated from Ireland. Their ancestor was one of the heroes of the Irish Revolution, and over the years they have become very successful. And this particular generation I want to talk about had three young ladies who became very excellent artists. In this old family photo of the children, you can see Rosina Emmet and Lydia Emmet and little Jane Emmet on the very end. She was the youngest. And they loved doing art. They had another artist cousin named Ellen Emmet, nicknamed Bay. They were all cousins of Henry James, and when the girls would visit Henry James in England, he would kind of affectionately complain and call them the Emmetry because he was annoyed by their American accents. But I have a tintype showing the young ladies when they were attending school in Paris. There is Bay Emmet and Jane in the middle, and Sister Lydia, the middle sister. The oldest sister was 19 years older than Jane, so she already was married and had a family. This is a closer-up image of Jane Emmet, about the age when she made the sketchbook. And later in 1904, she married a British artist named Wilfred de Glen, and he was an assistant to Sargent painting the Boston Public Library murals. And Jane ended up moving to London and lived with her husband, and they traveled a lot. Both of them traveled with Sargent, and she and her husband are in several of Sargent's paintings, which sounds pretty exciting to me too. And she would have evening soirees with composers and Sargent and lots of other notables in London, and had a wonderful early married life, I think. It's dated 1897, and she was studying in Paris between March and September, and she had an amazing skill with color pencil, and she would do mainly portraits of her family members who were there with her. This is a portrait of Bay, her cousin, who was also a very prominent artist in her own right. This is a portrait of Bay's sister Leslie, which is quite charming. And this is a portrait of her friend Mabel McGuinness, who is very interesting to me because she, apparently according to the letters, was traveling between Paris and London, and at this point she'd been in England for a while traveling with Mark Twain's family in London, so I'm very envious of her. And apparently, according to the records, Mabel and other family friends and a lot of Jane's family came to a little town on the Norwich coast called Dunwich, and it's a little coastal town. It's still a very tiny little town, and they apparently loved going there. And this next one I'll have to flip around. It's an especially nice portrait, I think, of Bay's other sister, Rosina. She has the same name as Jane's elder sister, and so to keep them straight, the family would call her Rosina and call the elder sister Posy. So in the letters, if it's addressed to Posy, you know they're talking to the sister and not the cousin. And this is a portrait of sculpture instructor Frederick McMonnies. Jane did not have a class with him in particular, but she knew him, and Bay Emmet took several sculpture classes with him. He had a house in Giverny, like many of them did following Monet out there, and he was quite a character in his own right, but all the ladies liked Mr. McMonnies. So those are the main pictures that I thought were especially notable in this sketchbook, and I hope that was interesting.